Well, a case that has haunted Kashmir for more than 3 decades is now back in sharp focus, and sources indicate that justice may finally be within reach. More than 35 years after the brutal killing of Kashmiri Pandit nurse Sarla Bhat in 1990, the state investigating agency is likely to file a charge sheet in the case. My colleague Sahil Sohail joins us on the broadcast with the details. Sahil, it's been a very long wait. Finally, the state investigating agency likely to file a charge sheet, marking a big breakthrough in one of the most disturbing cases from the valley.
By the SIA was taken over by, in fact, last year in 2023, the SIA started investigating this case with full pace. There were multiple raids that were conducted in Srinagar and elsewhere. And now we are picking up from the sources that the state investigating agency has come to conclusion and they are finally set to file charge sheet in this particular case. Today or in next 2 days, the SIA will be filing the charge sheet in the court against 5. And we are picking up from the sources that 3 are already dead, while 1 is absconding, reportedly hiding in Pakistan. And in the 5th one, and important, is the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front chief Yasin Malik. And in the investigation, the sources say that SIA has come to conclusion that this particular, in fact, target killing was carried out by the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front linked terrorists on the behest of Yasin Malik. Sarla Bhat, who was working as a nurse at Sher-e Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences, was targeted back in 1990 in Srinagar. In fact, she was labeled as informer. Her body was thrown in downtown Srinagar. The family had been, in fact, pleading for justice all these years. But the investigation really didn't, in fact, take place. But in 2023, the SI investigation took over the case, and with full pace and speed, the investigation was carried out, and now, in fact, the SI very close to filing the charge sheet in this particular case.
All right. Sahil, just stay with us just a moment, just to put things into perspective on what this means for Jammu and Kashmir. Activist Lalit Ambardar joins us on the broadcast. Thank you for joining us. This is a case that has haunted Kashmir for more than 3 decades. It's been a very long wait, but finally it looks like justice is within reach, because the charge sheet has mentioned Yasin Malik.
I think it's too late and too little, because picking up cases once here and there doesn't do justice to the issue of genocide of Kashmiri Hindus. You see, it's a good thing. We welcome it, but at the same time, after 36 years, you have taken up a case, and you're going to, I mean, you have filed a charge sheet and all that, right? But what about the other cases? Another 36 years waited for Girja Tikku, or for the Vandama massacre, Sangrama massacre, Sangrapura massacre. So it is welcome, and it's high time we set a deterrent. You see, you have put up a very tight security apparatus, security grid in Kashmir. That's why we have a kind of normalcy there. Otherwise, God forbid, whenever they are able to breach it, they hit. Pahalgam was one of the reasons. So we have to set a deterrent. We will be doing a great survey if we set a deterrent, punish those who are responsible for genocide of Kashmiri Hindus, whether they are in the mainstream, they are in the separatists, they are in the terrorists. I think that's how it should be going, and we welcome it. This is justice. I mean, this is too late, too little, but yet we welcome it. We expect more such cases to be taken up, and best would be if they set up a tribunal and investigate the holistically the all-total genocide of Kashmiri Hindus. Who was responsible? How was responsible? Who were the? I mean, we don't even know how many people were dead. Actually, it has been left to us to count, because every time we talk about how many Kashmiri Pandits were actually killed in Kashmir, we are thrown on the face some figure quoted in early 90s in Parliament, and every time all this many. But our activists have counted about 2,000 people who were assassinated. So it has been left to the survivors of genocide to count their own dead. So I think tribunal with the right thing to address the genocide of Kashmiri Hindus, because Kashmir Jihad was pan-Islamic inspired, and Kashmiri Hindus were targeted because they were Hindus and they represented in a tricolor across length and breadth of Kashmir. So to set up a deterrent to crush Kashmir Jihad, in fact to contain it, you can't crush it. Jihad conflicts have nowhere been vanquished anywhere in the world. You can contain it. And one of the major things, one of the principal things to contain it would be to establish a tribunal, officially acknowledge Kashmir Hindus who suffered a genocide, establish a tribunal, and investigate in the mainstream parties. For example, Farooq Abdullah, it was under his nose this happened. Mufti Muhammad said posthumously should be investigated. He was the first India's Muslim Home Minister under whose watch Kashmir Hindus suffered a genocidal exodus. So it has to be investigated holistically. One and two cases pick it up there doesn't do the justice at all.
Okay, all right. Mr. Ambarda, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. And, the sentiments that you spoke of from Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, we also have activist Amit Raina on the broadcast with us. And so, Amit Raina, does this mark the closure of one of the most painful chapters of Jammu and Kashmir, or do you think that justice delayed is justice denied?
I think justice delayed is justice denied because we have been constantly for the last 3 decades saying that Yasin Malik has been involved in the Sarla Bhat murder. And in fact, when Roots in Kashmir filed a PIL in Supreme Court, they mentioned the Sarla Bhat case, saying that it has been pending investigation, pending inquiry for now almost 30 years. Even today, Yasin Malik stands convicted, but not on the murder charges. He stands convicted on charges of Hawala funding and terror funding. So as of now, there has been a zero conviction on any terror killing in Kashmir, especially the killings of Kashmiri Pandits, the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits and Hindus in Kashmir. So yes, but it is a beginning. There was other case also picked up by SIB, which was the killing of Justice Neelkant Ganju. One needs to remember that Justice Neelkant Ganju was not the only person who was involved in the trial of Maqbool Bhatt. The public prosecutor was a Muslim, the defense lawyer was a Muslim, the entire staff was a Muslim. The police investigating Maqbool Bhatt for the murder of a J&K bank manager, they all were Muslim. But the only person killed for taking the revenge of Maqbool Bhatt's hanging was a Hindu, Neelkant Ganju. He was killed because he was a Hindu. So there has been a systematic attack against Hindus over the decades in Jammu and Kashmir, and they need to set up an SIT now, fast-track the cases, especially the prominent cases, and deliver justice. Yasin Malik needs to be convicted on the Sarla Bhat murder.
Okay, all right. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Amit Raina. So there are many within Kashmiri Hindus especially who believe that this may be just one chapter, but there are many more cases very, very painful for the Kashmiri Hindus, and this could be the first step. But it is too little too late. Let me go back to Sahil Sohail for more details on this charge sheet. And Sahil, we just heard the sentiment from the Kashmiri Hindu community, but like we mentioned, this does mark a closure in one of the most painful chapters in Jammu and Kashmir. But you mentioned the charge sheet that the police officials are expected to file, and the investigation, we are told, establishes that the killing was carried out at the behest of Yasin Malik. What are the details that the officials have obtained so far that could be mentioned in the charge sheet?
Well, matter of the fact is that the killings that were, in fact, that took place in Kashmir Valley back in 1990 were largely, in fact, attributed or, in fact, done by the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front that was headed by Yasin Malik. And in this particular case, Sarla Bhat, who was a nurse and working at Sher-e-Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences, was first abducted and then killed, and her body was, in fact, thrown in downtown Srinagar. She was labeled as informer, and now the investigation that has been carried out by the SIA, we are picking up from the sources, is that has established that the killing was carried out on behest of this Yasin Malik, who was in fact heading Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front, a terrorist organization. So in this case, the details will come out certainly once the SIA in fact files formally this charge sheet. But so far we have in fact picked it up from the case that there are 5 accused, 3 are already dead. One is absconding and likely to be hiding in Pakistan. And the fifth one, and important accused in this, is Yasin Malik. And the SIA, in fact, in its investigation, as per sources, has come to this conclusion that this killing was carried out on the directions of Yasin Malik. So it's important, and it's important given the fact that the investigation was picked up by SI just in 2023, and they have carried out the investigation. We know for the fact that the SI had carried out multiple raids across Kashmir Valley, particularly in Srinagar district, and the individuals who were raided in this particular case are linked to Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front and Yasin Malik. So by today or tomorrow, we are expecting that the SIA will formally file this charge sheet in the court, and there will be a trial in the case, and in fact the case will proceed on its own merits. But yes, after 2019, we had seen Jammu and Kashmir Police, particularly the SIA, State Investigating Agency, has picked up multiple such cases, and where in fact the Kashmiri Pandit were targeted, be it those cases who were in fact occurred in 1990 or after that. But the cases are investigated. In fact, they are being investigated by the Jammu and Kashmir Police, not just mere on the statements, but the evidence is being collected, the electronic gadgets are being collected, and the circumstantial evidence is also there. So all this evidence is being put together by Jammu and Kashmir Police, and the pace of investigation has basically increased after 2019, and these cases are being investigated. It's not just about one particular case, the killing of Sarla Bhat, a nurse, which is being investigated by Jammu and Kashmir Police, but we had seen in Nadimarg massacre case, Jammu and Kashmir Police, in fact, on the directions of court, restarted investigating that matter. There are multiple other cases that are under investigation as of now, but Jammu and Kashmir Police trying its best to ensure that the victims are delivered justice as early as possible.
Okay, all right, Sahil, thank you for joining us with all those details. We're told it's a fairly exhaustive charge sheet that is being filed and is going to be very important. We will come back to you for more updates on that as we